Please, don't leave. We can talk about this.
I slammed the front door shut, my heart pounding like a war drum, as I stared at a brand-new gaming console in my son's room. Where the hell did this come from? I demanded, my voice cracking with mix of confusion and fury. Jake, my 14-year-old, froze mid-game, his thumbs hovering over the controller. Mom got it for me, he mumbled, avoiding my eyes. But I knew better. Our budget was stretched thin, and Sarah had just complained about bills yesterday. That console cost more than my monthly paycheck. Something was rotten, and in that moment, the fragile trust I'd built over 15 years of marriage started to crack. Sarah and I had met in college, two broke kids dreaming of a simple life. We built it brick by brick, a modest house in the suburbs. Jake is our miracle after years of trying, and a routine that felt safe, if not exciting. Lately, though, she'd been distant. Late nights at work, new perfumes I didn't recognize, and that secretive smile when her phone buzzed. I'd chalked it up to stress. Her job as a marketing exec was demanding. But denial is a warm blanket until the cold truth seeps in. That evening, as I cooked dinner, I watched her from the kitchen. She was scrolling through her phone, laughing softly at something. "Who's that?" I asked casually, stirring the pasta. She jumped, locking the screen. "Just a friend from work." "Why?" Her tone was sharp, defensive. I forced a smile. "No reason. Jake's new toy looks pricey. You win the lottery." She waved it off. "Overtime bonus. He deserved it. Good grades and all." Jake nodded vigorously from the table, but his eyes darted away. Suspicion gnawed at me like a persistent itch. Over the next weeks, the clues piled up like unpaid bills. A receipt for laundry in her purse, not the kind she'd wear for me. Whispers on the phone in the bathroom, ending abruptly when I knocked. And Jake? He was suddenly flush with gadgets, AirPods, a drone, even a fancy watch. "Mom spoiling me," he'd say with a shrug. But I saw the guilt in his eyes, the way he'd clam up when I pressed. One night, I overheard him on a call. "Yeah, thanks for the stuff, Uncle Mike." Mom says hi. "Uncle Mike?" We didn't have an Uncle Mike. Heartbreak hit me in waves. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying our vows. How had we drifted so far? I loved her. God, I did, but the shadow of doubt poisoned everything. I started checking her phone when she showered, hating myself for it. Text from Mike Work. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Bring that smile." My stomach twisted. Denial screamed it was innocent, but anger whispered otherwise. I confronted Jake first, cornering him in his room. "Son, who's Uncle Mike?" He paled, fidgeting with his new controller. "Just a friend of Mom's. He gives me gifts sometimes." His voice trembled. "Why?" I knelt down, my voice soft but firm. "Because I think Mom's seeing him, and you're covering for her." Tears welled in his eyes. She said it was our secret. "He buys me cool stuff. Dad, you never do." The word stabbed like a knife. I'd worked double shift to keep us afloat, sacrificing luxuries for stability. But to a kid, flashy gifts trump quiet love. That revelation shattered me. My own son, bribed into silence. Suspense built as I pieced it together. Sarah's conferences aligned with Mike's texts. I followed her one evening, heart racing, parked outside a cozy cafe. There she was, laughing with a slick guy in a suit. Mike, I presumed. They kissed, and my world imploded. Anger surged, hot and blinding. I drove home, fists clenched on the wheel, tears blurring the road. Confrontation came that night. Sarah walked in late, smelling of cologne. "We need to talk," I said, voice steady despite the storm inside. She sighed, dropping her bag. "About what?" I laid it out. The texts, the gifts, Jake's confession. Her face crumpled. "It's not what you think. Don't lie." I shouted. Jake burst in, crying. "Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt Dad." She turned to him, furious. "You told him." The betrayal deepened, her anger at our son for choosing truth over toys. We argued for hours, voices raw. She admitted it. Mike was a boss, an affair born of boredom and flattery. You stopped noticing me, she sobbed. He makes me feel alive. I felt the collapse of trust like a physical blow. And Jake? You use our son as a shield. She had no answer, just tears. Motivations unfolded. Her loneliness after my long hours, his vulnerability to bribes amid our tight finances. Painful, but human. We were all flawed, me for neglecting the spark, her for seeking it elsewhere, Jake for his childish greed. The decision came swift, fueled by righteous anger. Get out, I said, voice cold. Both of you? But Jake, he chose side with those gifts. Pack your things. Evicting them felt like ripping out my heart, but staying would destroy me more. Lawyers followed. Divorce papers served amid bitter custody battles. Sarah fought dirty, painting me as absent. Jake, torn, testified about the gifts but admitted the cover-up. In the end, I kept the house, a hollow victory. Custody shared, but trust fractured forever. Months later, alone in the silence, I reflected on the ruins. Heartbreak lingered, a dull ache, but so did growth. I'd learned to spot the signs, to value myself beyond provision. Sarah remarried Mike, Jake thriving on his spoils but distant from me. It hurt, but closure came in rebuilding, therapy, new hobbies, tentative dates. Yet, as I sit here now, staring at Jake's empty room, I wonder if forgiveness is possible. The betrayal scarred us all, a reminder that love's collapse isn't sudden. It's a slow erosion, unnoticed until the flood. And in that reflection, I find not just pain, but a quiet resolve to never let suspicion fester again.